This podcast is brought to you in part by P&P Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or at one of their 3 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Let's get started.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Bonus Stage Podcast. This is episode number 51. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Jeff Ward. Jeff,
hello.
How the hell are you?
I am good. Better than you tonight, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm in an incredible amount of pain right now, so I'm going to try to sit still and not aggravate my shoulder. I somehow pinch nerve or something. It's the most painful thing ever, but I'm here and I'm doing
sure
a show.
I can think of a few things more painful, but I'm sure it's extremely painful.
It is extremely. It's to the point where I'm thinking, why am I sitting here in a chair that is really uncomfortable when it hurts like this? That's how painful it is.
Because you're dedicated.
I am dedicated.
We have 5 fans that are in the chat room right now. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about too, which is also great.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks.
Yeah.
Which is pretty obvious with new consoles and all that. Neither Jeff nor I have any of the new consoles. So if you're hoping to hear our thoughts on the new consoles, other than just what we've played at various events or at friends' houses, you're not going to get that this week, unfortunately. I'm really close to just going and picking up a PS4. I am. But
how easy would it be to do?
Probably wouldn't be easy, but there's restocks that are going to be happening between now and Christmas. So yeah. I'm sure I could just check out the store every little once in a while and hopefully grab one. I don't think there's going to be that much of a shortage in the new year. It'll probably be easy to find these things. So if I go in like the first week of January, I'll probably find PS4s everywhere. But
so the reason why I haven't bought yet, and I understand the desire to screw around with new tech, right? I mean, I love doing that. That's why I bought half of the camera gear that I bought, is because I really want to screw around with it. But aside from that, what is on the PS4 that you need to play right now? Right? That's the question I asked myself, and that's why I haven't bought one, because the answer is nothing. I don't give a shit about the new Killzone. Mm-hmm. Drive Club isn't out. I don't care about Knack. Do I want to play Flower again? No, I can play it on the on the PS3. I'm sure it'll look nicer, but
so
it's
much better.
Game. Yeah. It does. Actually, I've seen some video and it looks unbelievable. I can't believe how much better it looks. It's kind of crazy.
The only things I want to play right now is I want to play Knack. I don't want to pay $60 for Knack, but I want to play Knack because whenever we pass one of the kiosks, my kids want to play it. I've played a lot with my son. He really digs it. So I want to play Knack, but yeah, I want to play Flower. I want to play Resogun. I want to play all these games that are free, essentially. So I'm not going to spend $400 on a system for a bunch of free games. I'm going to be waiting for the next Infamous. I'm going to be waiting for Destiny. There's a couple other games that I'm really stoked for. But I can wait.
Ghost. I was going to say Ghost Dogs, but Watch Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs will be good too.
That certainly would have made it a lot easier for me to pull the trigger on one of the consoles, right? If Watch Dogs had come out. Drive Club, that's something I'm really interested in. And for the Xbox side, I don't care about Rise. I heard it's a hunk of shit. Do I want to play games that, and there's a lot of, I guess last gen now we can say, games that are coming out as ports on the current gen consoles. Yeah. But that's not really a reason to buy in.
Yeah, Polygon did a really good article today where they showed off a bunch of the games that came out at launch. They showed it was basically side by side comparison between PS1 or sorry, Xbox One, PS4, PS3, and 360, because a lot of these games came out on all 4 consoles, and they kind of just show you the change in graphics for these games that are ported across multiple generations. And it's like, okay, NBA looks great in Xbox One. Do I really want to play a basketball game and justify my $400 or $500 purchase? Not really.
Looks great on the 360 and PS3 too.
Totally. Like, I don't know. Killzone looks really amazing, but I'm not a huge fan of the franchise, so I wouldn't be buying that one anyway.
Yeah,
so there's nothing there for it yet.
Exactly, right. And that's but that sometimes becomes like a minor thing, like a minor inconvenience to the I really want to screw around with new tech. You know, like I want to be one of those people posting pictures of their
I want to be live streaming.
Shit.
Like I want to hit the one button live stream. Like there's nothing.
I've been doing live streaming on my 360, and it's like I've got to hook up my friggin' media box to a laptop. I've got to hook up the camera to the laptop. I've got to make sure everything's feeding through a program.
Totally.
Then I've got to it's very complicated.
I did 8 hours of live streaming last weekend of Mario.
I was watching. Yeah.
And about halfway through the stream, it just stopped, and I didn't notice. And then I refreshed my page because comments weren't updating, and it's like, this person's offline. I'm like, no, I'm online. So I had to like reset my whole rig. That's just so annoying. When you go into the guide, you hit a button, and boom, there you are, and that's it. I'm looking forward to that. There's certain things about the PS4 that I'm really excited about, like the ability to route all the audio to your controller and then have like a headset plugged into your controller to listen to games. That'll be great for gaming at night and stuff like that. The ability to do Vita, so I could play some of the games while I'm before bed or whatever. Just grab my Vita out, put it on the bedside table, play a couple games, go to sleep type thing. But none of that is I'm going to go out right now and spend $400, because all that stuff will still be there in January, February, March when I finally pick up a system, and then there'll actually be games that I want to play.
True. And I forgot about the Vita connectivity that I'm interested in trying, but I heard right now it's kind of at a minimum anyway at best. So it's not like
it works. Every game that's out right now works with it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'd rather have a PS Vita TV. Like, I'd rather have that than a PS4 right now, because that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, no. There's even people that were basically showing videos of them playing on different Wi-Fi networks, playing over LTE, and it works. They're playing like Assassin's Creed or Resogun while sitting outside their house or like downtown, far away from their house, just over a cellular network. It's ridiculous that even works. So stuff like that, I'm kind of stoked to mess around with. But again, is that worth $400 to me right now? Probably not.
It's not to me. And I've thought a lot about it. As much as I want to play Forza 5, which actually I went back to I might as well tell the story now because it's actually quite funny. Last week, I believe we told the story about Tom and mine. Me and Tom, we went to Best Buy to try the Xbox One and see what it was like, and the insanely long, ridiculously complex install sequence to get Forza 5 playing.
Sure.
Went back a couple days ago and played it for about 25 minutes or so. The store was like totally empty. And I asked, because the same guys, I'm like, so how long did it take you to install this game? And he said, we hooked it up to my high-speed internet at home, and it took us 3 hours.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
3 hours! How do you even, like, I understand it's a lot. It's a 6 gigabyte game, right? But you're on a Blu-ray drive, state-of-the-art, super high speed, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it take that long? Well, that is obscene.
The problem with that is I was reading about people that were doing installs on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and a game, Need for Speed Rivals, takes 24 seconds on the PS4 before you're actually playing the game. On the Xbox, it took like 5 minutes.
That's just
and the difference between the two is the Xbox downloads all the updates first, applies the updates, then installs the stuff, where the PS4 installs the game, installs the stub of the game, allows you to start playing it, and then streams the update in the background, and then the next time you launch it, it applies that update.
And that's how it should be done.
That's the better way to do it. Why would you want to stop people from playing a game they spent $60 on? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little Prometheus. How long did it take you to install Forza on your Xbox One? Because honestly, the 3 hours they said was just like I laughed super hard, and they were like, "Yeah, it's pretty slow, but you have to understand it's a big game, and there was a lot of updates." I get now that everything is online, right? Because it's post launch that there is the drivatars that are being introduced and all that kind of stuff. But it seems inexcusable to me that it's 3 hours. Like and he was plugged in, he was hardlined, it wasn't Wi-Fi. That's just absolutely ludicrous to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, even then, like that's still not enough for me to get one, and I'll wait, I'll just wait, and it'll be fine, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything or something like that. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, so let's get into what we've been playing this week.
All right. Well, how about you start it off then?
Yeah. So this week I was kind of in a lull. I want to finish and get 100% in GTA 5. I'm sitting right now at about 86 or 87%, but I didn't feel like going and getting all 50 letters and all 50 pieces of that space car thing. So what I decided to do was I was just going to go through my game library, right, and see what I had. And I came across Magic 2013, a game we talked about a year and a half ago at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I figure, yeah, I'll give it another shot. I haven't played Magic in a while. And the reason I stopped is I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who is the he's the white planeswalker. He controls the white deck. It's a super fast deck. But anyway, I can't remember his name, but he whooped the shit out of me every time, right? Because I hadn't had any really good decks developed, and he could get creatures out so fast that before I even had one character on the board, he had like three, because most of his just cost 1 mana to play. So I'm just like being chiseled down by life, from my life every turn. So it took me like, I don't know, 20 different matches to finally beat him. But in that 20 matches, I totally got addicted to it. Like I fell back into that Magic the Gathering pit, and I've been playing it a lot lately, and I even broke out my cards, and I was making a new deck. Like I wanted to go in aggro green, so I was building some of that. And it's like totally gotten me like back into that world of Magic the Gathering, and which is going to suck for my wallet because I'm like fighting it to not every day I go or I drive past Fusion Gaming on Pembina Highway as I'm going to work, and I'm like, man, I should just pop in and see what they have for booster. Like, no, just drive by, don't do it. But yeah, I've fallen back into that, and that's a really solid game. I really do wish that I had bought it on the iPad like you did instead, but having it on the 360 isn't all that bad. And then this week I got COD Ghosts, and I've been playing that, so I'm going to review that later on in the show, and I've got some things to say about it. But I didn't do a review of Battlefield 4 last week, and I just kind of wanted to go over it quickly right now. In comparison to Call of Duty, which I'll make more detailed comparisons later when I review Call of Duty, this game is just a cut above, right? I use this as my official review of the game. It is, first of all, I played it on the 360, so understand that if you are going to buy it on the 360, it's going to run like dog shit. It's running like crap on every platform right now, but it runs and looks probably the worst on Xbox. Understandably so, because it is an aging piece of hardware, but it still looks really fantastic. It improves on pretty much everything that Battlefield 3 did wrong, and the stuff that it did right, it makes it even better. The big thing and the big characteristic in this game is the levolution that kind of changes the gameplay of the maps as the match goes on. So I stayed strictly to Conquest because that's my favorite mode to play, and depending on what map you're playing, some crazy like insane event could happen that changes the landscape of the battle. So Flood Zone, for instance, there's like basically a levee, right, like a dike that is protecting a town from being flooded, and then you can just shoot it a bunch with like rockets and stuff from tanks, and it'll blow up the wall, and this like water will just flood in, and now you can't get anywhere on the ground without having to swim or take a boat, and it totally changes the map. There's one where it's like, do you remember GoldenEye, where they fight on like Arecibo Station, at the end, the big satellite.
Yep.
So it's basically like that, and you can basically blow up the guide wires of holding up the center of the, there's a big dish in the ground, then there's the satellite thing on the top, the transmitter, and it'll crash down in through the map and smash in through the satellite and create like
Cool.
this monster crater, and it's super intense. When it happens and you're just like having to be running down this thing and it's like falling on top of you. It's so insane. The Shanghai Siege of Shanghai obviously has the B domination point will actually crumble out of the sky, and it's insane. There's a really cool evolution. I can't remember what the map is called, but it's basically a city as well too.
Right.
And you can go and turn the pressure of the valves underneath the street on super high on both ends of the map, and it'll blow up the whole center structure of basically the street that connects everything, and it blows up the bridge in the middle, and now the B point, instead of being raised on a bridge, is sagging into the street. And there are these massive kind of tunnels, trenches basically, that were created by the explosion that make it difficult for tanks and vehicles to go over, but give you a nice spot to sit down and shoot guys as they come up.
Right.
It's mind-blowing how deep this game is. The experience system is really tight. You always feel like you're being constantly rewarded. The guns feel really good. Unlocking shit is really rewarding. Like, I was playing support a lot, so I was unlocking the ammo box, which means I can resupply everybody's grenades and ammo and stuff like that. And then, I would unlock different LMGs and different attachments for those LMGs, and it was just it was so much fun. I'm going to be buying it probably maybe Boxing Day if it's cheap or something, but probably in January once everything kind of calms down. Mm-hmm. Maybe find a good deal, but it's totally worth the $60. It's really a fantastic game. The game kind of falls apart anytime the host is far away from you. And when I mean the host, the servers seem like they're on dedicated servers, right, for any EA game, but it sometimes feels like the host is somebody playing in the game, and the connection is really crappy sometimes. So you'll empty half a clip into a guy's back and he won't die, and you won't even get a hit marker. But that doesn't happen very often. There's a lot of bugs in the PC version, so know that going in, that a lot of that stuff still hasn't been fixed, and it's made quite a few people very angry. Another thing that kind of sucks is the Battlefield Commander app came out for the iPad last week, I think, and I logged into my EA Origin account, and it doesn't recognize my guy. You have to have played the game and own it, right? Yeah. But for whatever reason, it thinks that I don't own. I mean, I don't own the game, but I have played it, and I do have an active soldier. Maybe not.
Do you have it on? Enough. Did you put it into Origin?
Yeah.
So you have to have a level 10 soldier for it to show up as an active account.
I'm definitely over level 10. I believe I got to level 17 by the time I had to give the game back to PNP. But I'll have to double check. But it's really a fantastic game. I think it's shooter of the year. It's probably the best first-person shooter I've played in the last half decade. That's how good it is. The campaign. Now here's where things kind of fall apart. It's horrendous. Yeah. So I'm level 15. I'm looking at my Battlefield battle log app here. So I was level 15, and apparently that doesn't count. I'm not sure.
That should work. Weird.
Yeah, it should, right? But it didn't. But anyway, so the campaign is extremely short. It's 6 missions, can be beaten in about 4 hours. And I beat the entire campaign the first night I got it. So did you bring it to me, or did I go and meet you at PNP? I can't remember how I got it, but I started playing it at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had beaten it by 9. And I was like, wow, that was fast.
That's like my Halo playthrough.
Yeah, totally, right? But at least Halo kind of came to this nice concrete ending. Mm-hmm. While I was playing the last mission, I'm like, okay, so this is pretty epic, right? There's a monster ship, and I got to go destroy it or whatever. And then the game ends, that mission ends, and I'm like, all right, so what do we do next? Do we go after him? Do we go and storm the ship or something? And it's no, it's over. I had no idea that the last mission in the game was the last mission I was playing. And usually as a gamer, right, you know, okay, this is it. This is the climax of the game, right? And there's no way to kind of tell that in Battlefield 4. It's just all of a sudden abrupt, hey, the game's over. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming by. And it's holy shit. It's totally ridiculous. And there is a couple of points in this game where they try to throw you a curveball. Oh yeah, working for the other side, double agent, triple agent and stuff, and it's just like, oh, it's just, just cringe inducing. It's so bad. Doesn't make any sense. And then at the end of the game, a character who has died comes back, and he just shows up out of nowhere. And like he was dead. He was just dead to rights, totally dead. And then as he's like talking to you, you're like, hey, what the hell happened to you, man? And he's like, oh yeah, I had to crawl through a lot of shit to get out of that one, but let's just leave it at that. I'm like, what do you mean let's just leave it at that? You were friggin' dead. Like, you were so dead. And I thought, okay, so he's absolutely gonna turn on us. Like, there's no way, right?
Right.
And then no, he just says goodbye and like goes and does something else. And it's just the most bizarrely written thing ever.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's totally crazy. But, other than, and you don't really play Battlefield for the campaign, Battlefield's always been an online multiplayer game. And I think only like the Bad Company games kind of introduced the storyline, and they were pretty good. But, Battlefield 3 and 4 had, I would say subpar stories at best. But again, you're not there for the writing, you're there for the multiplayer. And it's more than enough to keep you, in the game. I think the multiplayer alone is worth $60 because it's that good. The single player is like worth like $3. It'd be great if it was DLC or something. But Battlefield 4 is absolutely a game that you should consider getting if you haven't already. And if you have the choice between PS3 or 360, get it on the PS3 because it runs a hell of a lot smoother and there's a lot less mess ups when it comes to the bugs. Because the Xbox version was pretty crap, but yeah, it's really fantastic, and I gave it back to you, and I can't remember if you got a chance to play it or not. Did you?
No.
No? Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah, no, did not have a chance to do that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. So what about you? What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a fair bit of all sorts of things. Let's pull up my list real quick. I've been playing, I guess the one that I played and beat this week was Super Mario 3D World. I picked that up last weekend and basically had like a couple marathon sessions with my kids, playing multiplayer, playing single player. It is easily, hands down, the best Mario game that's come out in a long time. It's the best non-Mario Galaxy game that has come out in generations. It is, from start to finish, I don't think I had a smile leave my face. It was just amazing to play that game and just see all the different unique things that they ended up doing. Every single world has its own different little flair, its own different things to do. Like there's the world where you're running over those blocks that disappear and doing platforming that way. And then the next world you play, you're sliding down the map like you're playing Mario Kart, and it actually plays the Mario Kart theme as you're sliding around. And then the next world you play as one of the toads, but it's an explorer toad, and it's in this 3D world that you have to rotate around. You have to find all the stars, and you can't jump, so it's kind of like this logic puzzle. And then the next world, you're basically playing a level that you're climbing up the side of a mountain, and then the next world, and it's just like from one level to the next to the next to the next. You're always doing something different. But the best part of everything is it's all incredibly polished. There's no level that you play that you kind of go, okay, kind of needed some work. There's no level like that I've played in the game. It's always been it's always been just fun and joy and awesomeness and awe that Nintendo can actually make a game that is pretty damn close to perfect. Like it is a really, really, really awesome game. So I don't know. Do you have any questions about the game? Is there anything you want to know about it?
Well, I heard that there, and it's a little bit of a contentious point. There's usually not very many contentious points or drama when it comes to a Nintendo game, but I heard that a lot of people are kind of upset that Nintendo gave you an easy way out with the white Tanuki suit, where you basically become invincible after, 5 deaths or something?
Yeah, Nintendo's done that for the last... I don't know, 4 or 5 games, Mario games, where if you fail a lot, they want you to keep going on, and still playing the game. So all the new Super Mario games had it. Super Mario 3D Land had it, and it's just this block that appears. So if you die a bunch of times, it gives you the option to use this block. You don't have to. There's nothing that says that you have to go there and start using it. But if you do use it, then yeah, you pretty much are invincible. You can, it's like you have star power. You can still fall into lava and into pits and things and die, but essentially you can't die, which makes it really fun and really easy for kids. Which I like. In previous games, if you ever use that power up once, your save game would permanently be tarnished. You'd have the scarlet letter on your save game, because none of the stars would be flashing, like sparkling. They've changed it for this one even, so that if you accidentally use it, or if one of your kids uses it, or something happens, you just have to beat that level again without using it, and then that will reset your sparkly save game stars. So it got rid of a lot of the complaints even that some people had. This game, like, I played a lot of co-op with my kids, and basically it involved us playing through a level, getting to a part that was like really difficult for the kids, me telling the kids to bubble, so they would hit whatever the bubble button was. I would go through that really tricky platforming part of the level, and then I'd say, okay, pop your bubble. They'd pop their bubble. We'd continue on. Every part of the level that you go to, there's something fun and unique and surprising. It's not like lazy game design where they design this huge level with like square corners that have nothing in it. Pretty much everywhere you go that you think, hey, I wonder if something's there, something will always be there. Like if you even think, I wonder, you don't wonder, because there's always going to be something new there, whether it's coins that appear, whether it's hidden blocks, whether it's, I don't know, like just everything. Every level in the world has a hidden Luigi, which I just found out recently. So people are going back through the game and trying to find like a hidden Luigi texture, or sometimes you break a block and a little mini like NES style Luigi will jump out of the block. There's a star world. There's a world that's, it's kind of spoilery, but it's kind of like Super Mario Galaxy, so I won't get into much into that. There's unlockable characters. I don't know. This game is a system seller. Absolutely. This is gonna sell Wii U's without any shadow of a doubt. It is absolutely amazing. As I said, I played through it over a weekend, basically beating all the levels except for I think one, which I haven't unlocked yet, because I think you need 210 stars, and I think the last I checked, I was at 202. So I just have a few stars to clean up, and then I can go beat that last level. But yeah, over a weekend playing co-op with my kids, it was the most enjoyable time I've had playing video games in a long, long time. Worth every penny that I spent on it. I'm going to be picking it up from, I don't know, every week with the kids. I'm sure that's going to be the game they want to play. Even though you beat it, there's so much other stuff to unlock. To get 5 gold stars on your save game, you have to beat all the levels. You have to get all 3 stars on all the levels. You have to finish all the levels with all 5 characters, which means you have to unlock the 5th character and then beat all the levels again with that character. Like, there's so much stuff that you can do to 100% this game. It's gonna basically take me forever if that's something that I want to do. So it is a awesome title. If you have a Wii U, get this. If you've been waiting for a killer title before you pick up a Wii U, this will be the one that is that killer title. It is that damn good. It's I don't know. There's nothing else I can say about it. I could gush for another hour about this game. But get out there, check out some screenshots, check out some videos, look into what people are saying about it, and watch some Let's Plays. Check to see if I'm streaming it, because I'll probably be streaming it this weekend. It is just an amazing game, and it really shows how masterful Nintendo is with their game design. Like, their games take a while to come out, but they do it for a reason. They're like
kind of like Blizzard or like a BioWare or something.
They're like Bethesda. They're like BioWare. Yeah. They're like Blizzard. All the bees. They take their time, but when they come out with a product, it is a damn good game, and you're gonna enjoy it. So I don't know. I really, 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 really like it. So yeah, definitely go check that one out. What else? I've been playing. Some Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Nice.
And I guess probably about 75% of the way through that game. I beat all of the dungeons on Hyrule. I'm going through all the stuff on Low Rule. I think I'm done 3 of the dungeons, so I think I got 5 more. Again, like on the same day you had Mario, which is as close to a perfect game as you're going to get in this generation, and then you have Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, which again is as close to a perfect game you're going to have on the generation. It's amazing that Nintendo released these both on the same day. It's actually kind of ridiculous that they would do that. But yeah, if you played the Super Nintendo, A Link to the Past, the game starts off and like every screen that you go into, you get like that tickling sense of deja vu. It's like, I've played this before. Because you have, it's basically a full 3D recreation of what the level map looked like for that, obviously with some changes. But then once you start unlocking your powers that you get, to the power to basically merge with the wall, things then start getting a little bit more different than A Link to the Past. And then you unlock the power to go to Low Rule, and that's where things get really interesting. So I'm really enjoying that. As I said, I'm probably about 70 to 75% of the way through that game. So maybe I'll probably be doing a review of this on the Nintendo Pulse, actually. So if you want to hear my review, check out VGPodcast.com for that. It's really good, really damn good. It's another game where you're playing it and you're smiling because it is that much fun. Every dungeon is like designed perfectly. Like there's tricks, there's puzzles, there's things to kind of think about and puzzle out in your brain. But once you figure out the solution, it's like, well, of course that was a solution. How did I not know that was a solution when I first looked at it? It's just ingenious design from start to finish. Like, again, it just shows how masterful Nintendo is. Like from start to finish, from the interface to the menus to the music. Like the music, oh my god, like you want to wear headphones when you play this game. The score is just absolutely amazing. Wonderful game. But as I said, I'll review that one on the Nintendo Pulse. And then as kind of a mirror image to that one.
We'll go to the other side of the scale.
Yeah, we'll go to the Low Rule version of the High Rule.
Nice, Low Rule.
And that is Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. I finally got as far in that game as I could possibly get. It is just a train wreck. I'm going to assume
it's just past the opening cinematic.
No, like I beat a couple of the bosses and I just couldn't finish off. There's 3 main bosses. There's 3 sub bosses. I couldn't get to finish the 3 main boss before you unlock the actual like ending of the game where you fight the final bad boss. I couldn't do it. I was fighting. The controls. I was fighting the map system, which is just ridiculous. It is the most broken, I don't know what they were thinking, map in a game that I've ever played. And I've played games from the Atari 2600. The map for Adventure, it was better than the map for this game. It's just so bad. I wanted to like it. I love the Batman Arkham games. This one just didn't do it for me. So I would say, unless you're picking this game up for $10 or $20 in a bargain bin, stay clear. And even if you are going to pick it up, you might want to steer clear of the Vita version and get it on the Wii U or on the 3DS, because then you'll always have the map on the screen below you. As terrible as the map is, you'll at least be able to see the arrow moving, so it gives you some semblance as, oh, when I'm moving left, it actually means that I'm moving down on this totally busted map that makes no sense. All right, that's good. But yeah, it's not good. Going from one extreme to the other, like 2 amazing Nintendo games to blah, is what that was, and was
how
not
much
enjoyable.
Was this game?
$40.
Oh
Yeah. It's not good. Do not spend $40 on it. Save your money.
Now, are you gonna give it back because it's a piece of shit? Are you gonna trade it in?
Oh, I've already done that. Yeah,
okay.
It's gone. It's out of my out of my hands, which is
because I know that you rarely trade in games. So I was always wondering like what the situation has to be for you to be like, all right, this is going back.
Yeah, no, it's gone. It's gone. So flew the coop already. And then last but not least, I've beat Skylander Swap Force with the kids, the main campaign, going through on the nightmare difficulty and playing some of that. That's been a lot of fun. The kids are again, between Mario and Skylanders, they're in like game heaven. They just love everything about it. And today I kind of treated myself, since it's Black Friday. They had the Skylanders starter packs on for about half price at a bunch of different retailers up here in Canada, and they're even cheaper in the States, but not here. So I picked up the 3DS starter kit, and the 3DS version is a whole different game. It's all new. Comes with 3 characters that I didn't own, and so I've been playing through a little bit of that as well. So lots of good gaming. I've been spending a lot of time playing some really good games and some utter shit as well, or one piece, one turd. But the rest has been actually really, really good. So yeah, it's been fun, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't played a lot of shit lately. I played some really stupid games, but nothing as bad as that Batman game. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. I'm curious if anybody else has played it that's listening to this. Am I crazy? I don't think I am. I didn't even do this. I'm going to check what the Metacritic score on it is.
Bonus stage exclusive. Sales plummet for Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate after bonus stage review.
I'm thinking it can't be more than 60. Oh, yeah. There it is. 60. Right on the dot.
Right on the dot. Even that seems high from the way you describe it.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I think there are far too few reviewers out there who are actually willing to give a game like a really bad score, you know? Yeah. Like, how often do you ever see a 0 or like a 1 or something? Yeah. You know, like it's rare that it ever happens. I think the lowest review I've ever seen Adam Sessler give is like a 2, you know? And he lambasted the whole game. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever played. 2 out of 5. I'm like, what? Where did the 2 come from? Like, just, man. You know, like the game always has to get something. Like, doesn't make any sense to me.
I can understand not giving it a 0 because they did ship a product, so there is something. But
yeah, the game is finished. That's worth a 1.
It's finished in some sense of the word. Here's a review from GameSpot, and pretty much this is what I feel. The first few hours of Blackgate provide an exciting glimpse of what might have been a great game, but slowly it falls apart. Hour by hour, villain by villain. And yeah, that's essentially how I felt exactly about this game. EGM gave it a 30. Destructoid gave it a 30. That's more along the lines where I am. Then you have Joystick 70, IGN 74, Polygon 80, which is really weird. Polygon's usually a really tough reviewer, so I don't know why that review is so high. I'm really kind of curious as to why that is.
Payola scandal.
But yeah, it's horrible. Just don't spend full price on it. Just save your cash, please. And if you have played it, let me know what you thought, or if I'm just smoking crack like Rob Ford.
Did we have to? Do we have to do that?
Yeah, we have to
get a Rob Ford in
Yeah,
there.
Why not? Why not? Everybody else is.
Oh man!
All right, let's get into our feedback. We got one piece of email. This comes from someone that didn't leave their name.
Actually, real quickly beforehand, if you're curious on what came out this week, the answer is nothing.
Yeah, digital downloads is about it.
Some digital games and like
nothing
some DLC for games that I've honestly never heard of ever. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's out. I'm not going to put that.
The new Campus Crush pack came out, so.
Did it? Sweet.
Yeah, so you can go pick
Show over. I gotta play.
So this is a piece of email we got. It's from someone that didn't leave their name, and their name is kind of in their email address, but I don't want to give it out just because I don't want anybody to get any email that they didn't ask for. So thanks for sending this in. You'll know your question when you hear it. Sorry we didn't say your name because we couldn't. And it goes, hey guys, quick question today. What do you think of the small controversy with the in-game microtransactions with the games on the Xbox One like Rise and Forza 5? Thanks guys, keep up the good work. So what he's talking about is from day one, Forza 5 has about $2,000 worth of DLC available to buy.
Not in one package, but in like little kind of cut up. Here's a car. Here's a car.
Microtransactions. If you want to buy the top of the line car, it's going to cost you $97, and it's all the way.
Is that actually how much it costs?
I think that's exactly what it costs. About $97 in credits. Yeah, it's expensive.
Oh, in credits. So not. Okay, so hold on.
So you have to buy the credits. You have to buy $100 worth of credits to then buy the car that costs you about $97 worth of those credits when you buy the credits at the $100 level, which is a huge discount.
Gotcha. Okay, so Max is saying in the chat room here $125.
Well, I guess it all depends on if you buy the $100 credit pack, your credits are cheaper, so it costs less. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's nuts. And there's a lot of other things like that. So I don't know how you feel, Jeff, but for me, if I'm buying a game for $60, I don't feel that there should be microtransactions in the game. Content that is locked only behind these microtransactions.
Well, actually, it's not locked just behind the microtransactions. You can get the cars in game by just playing the game.
Oh, and there is some stuff that is only available for purchase, though.
So, it's probably some like day one, like here's an extra car pack.
It's car packs, but available on the first day that the game comes out.
Yeah, that's a little suspect.
Like for me, I don't think microtransactions to this extent should be part of this game. Like having multiple types of currency, not that Forza does that, but that's just an example. Having currency being purchasable anyway, all that stuff, I don't like that. I don't like it. I play freemium games, and you expect that. If you like the game, you're going to pony it $5 or $10, buy your stuff, and have fun with the game. If I'm spending $60 on a racing game that in previous generations has included everything free of charge, you didn't have to buy credits to buy a car. You could unlock everything, race, get the money, do all this stuff. And they've even gone so far with Forza 5 where normally if you did really good at a race or you beat a championship or something, they would give you a car as a reward. They don't even do that anymore. So the only way to get cars is to buy them. And you buy them by racing or by getting money by racing or by buying the currency. And some of the vehicles like the Veyron, I think it's like something like 3 million or something like that, $3 million. And each race that you race will get you about 3,000. So
yeah, well,
to save to get that, oh my god, that's
in
crazy.
terms of comparison's sake, Forza 4, like the Veyron's like 1.5 million. There's a couple of Ferraris, like the F50, that's like 2 million, 2.5 million in-game credits. And like right now, I've been playing for roughly 20 hours of Forza 4, and I've got something like 1.5 million. So it does take a while to accrue that much. But yeah, you are right in they did change the design of the game, that they are not offering free cars every time you level up, because, and this is the game director's quote, he said that people weren't experimenting enough with their money because it became so easy to accrue it that they didn't ever need to spend it. So they wanted to retool the game to make it so that you are spending your cash, you are using the store features and stuff like that.
We realized that if we didn't give people the ability to buy currency and spend that currency, they would never do that. So we've taken away all the free stuff so that it encourages them to go out there and spend their money, their hard-earned money on top of the $60. I don't know.
They're not forcing you to spend anything.
Of course they're not forcing you to spend anything. But
they like in Forza you can still get, other than these car packs that came out day one, which they release car packs all the time for Forza 4.
I'm familiar with the franchise.
So in terms of, there's an option there for you to get whatever car you want right away by spending a little bit of extra money, of real money. That doesn't bother me, because in terms of like a racing game, it's all about a grind anyway, getting in the cars, playing on the tracks, driving them, unlocking stuff.
Yeah.
For Forza, it doesn't bother me at all.
I don't know. For me, I understand the grind. I've been playing racing games since they were barely 3D. I understand that, and I've played racing games for as long as I've been driving. Even on the ColecoVision and the Atari 2600, there were racing games, and I bought them and I played them. This game is designed solely to get your money. Like all the previous Forza games, which I own many of the versions, there was a steady climb, but it wasn't an elliptical curve or an exponential curve. It would be you race a bit, you get a couple free cars, use those to race some harder races. You race the harder races, you get more money to buy better cars, to race in the harder races to get more money to get better cars. So the cars were more expensive, but you were getting more money, and it was a steady curve. It was more of a line. It wasn't even a curve. In this game, it doesn't matter whether you race in the I'm racing my Civic against other Civics, or I'm racing my Ferrari against other Ferraris. You get the same amount of money for winning a race. So as you get further into the game, it's going to take longer and longer and longer to get cars to then race in the higher classes. And the only thing that you get from racing in the higher classes is the ability to race in the higher classes. You don't get any more money. You don't get any more anything. And it, to me, playing iOS games, playing freemium, seeing this way of monetizing games evolve from the early days where there was level packs to nowadays where most games are free and they charge you they want to charge you tens of dollars to play their game. Forza 5 seems like it's a freemium game that you have to spend $60 for the right to get into the freemium world of it. This would have been, if this game was released free with the console and it had all the same stuff in it, I would have absolutely no problems with it, even if it only came with 5 cars and you had to grind to get everything else. But
there's nothing about Forza 5 the way it's presented out of I've only played it a little bit, right? So, but the from what I've read and what I've heard in videos I've seen, it doesn't seem like a freemium game to me at all.
But what they've done is they've taken the way that you earn stuff in every previous version of Forza, and they've either gotten rid of it if it was free stuff, or they've made it so that it's harder to get currency to buy the higher end cars. Yeah, and the only reason why they would have done that is to force people to grind, get sick of grinding, and then give them money to buy the credit packs. That's the only reason why you would do that.
I understand why you would see it that way. I don't see it as a, let's build this game anew so that we can get more than $60 from people. I just see it as let's change it so that things are different, and we're going to make it a different system for unlocking stuff.
Absolutely,
because you can still go through and play the game and get whatever you want just by playing the game.
But it takes exponentially longer compared to the previous generation.
So are we complaining that it's taking too long to unlock the stuff I want to unlock? That seems like not a very good complaint.
The complaint is for 4 generations of this game, it was the same. And then now they have the ability to buy credits where none of the other games basically allowed you to buy your way into the game. And all of a sudden you can buy credits and the game is harder to progress. What a happy coincidence that it was done that way.
It still doesn't bother me.
Well,
I mean,
it doesn't bother me either because I won't buy it. So it doesn't matter to me either way. But
it sounds like it matters to you.
No. I'm talking. He asked a question. I'm answering the question. I can have opinion about things, Jeff.
Oh my god! But you sound you're pretty passionate about it, as if it's actually bothering you.
No, I'm saying I don't like where the industry is going. I don't want to have a game that I'm paying $60 that is being developed like a freemium game, because I play freemium games. I play games that I buy $60 for. I don't believe that they should all go together and get smushed together.
Yeah. See, and Rise, I think, is the opposite end of that, where you basically pay real money to increase your skills so that you can be a better fighter. But the game just is based around a really shitty fighting system. That pisses me off. But the Forza thing doesn't, because to me, the racing is so much fun that I'm going to want to sit there and play it for hundreds of hours and unlock everything. No, I get that people are upset that it seems very suspect that there's a new system in place, and hey, yeah, it happens to go along with, if you feel like it, go ahead and buy some new,
You're being stuff, very naive, Jeff.
I don't think so.
They didn't just pull this out of their butt. This wasn't hey, let's change what we've been doing and make it harder for our customers that love us. Let's get rid of, they've gotten rid of gifting cars. So I can't even give you an expensive car.
Yeah.
They've gotten rid of the ability for you to customize your vehicles and trade them with friends. So you could take like a really crappy car, customize it, add a great paint job, and give it to someone else, because they don't want anybody to get stuff for free. They want you to either put your equity into it, or they want you to buy it flat out with cash.
So, okay, so the way I'm hearing it, right, is that you have one of two choices. Don't work hard and just buy it with your own money, or work hard and get it out of the game. Like, and that's, so I don't understand. Like, because
the way to work hard to get the stuff in this game is exponentially more difficult than previous games. All the previous games, they had the same basic gradual climb to buy your vehicles. So you wouldn't have to race 50 races to afford a car in the next class.
Actually, you would have to race a ton of races. I mean, it's literally taken me 150 races at least to get 1.5 million.
Right.
Like, it takes you an insane amount.
There's always the crazy concept cars that are like really expensive, but this isn't even just the concept cars that are expensive in this game. And
so I've watched a bunch of gameplay, and like if you do well in the race, you get 10 or 15,000 credits a race, depending on also how you gauge your driving assists. If you turn everything off and make the game really hard, you get a ton more.
If you race in the same type of vehicles, if you're always a Benz guy, you always race Mercedes-Benz, you get a loyalty bonus. There's all that stuff put in.
Now, the affinity bonus only makes it so that parts for that car are cheaper. It doesn't mean that you get more money.
You get more money when you win a race. You get a percentage.
Yeah, I know you get more money when you win a race, but the affinity doesn't have anything to do with how expensive cars are. Only how much the parts are.
I'm talking about how. No. What I'm saying is when you win a race, you get X number of credits. You get a bonus for the difficulty of your people that you're competing against, and you get a bonus for the affinity bonus. So if you're always racing this type of car, you get X number of percentage more credits. So that's how they do it, but it's still exponentially more difficult because you don't get your base credits don't go up from one race to the other. So if you're racing Lamborghinis, your base percentage, your base pile of credits is the same as if you're racing Civics in the first race of the game. Like, your base never goes up, which is a huge problem.
That's how they did it in Forza 4 too, right?
Yeah,
you could always get a set of.
I haven't played Forza 4.
Okay, so you only get a set amount of credits every time, and it's usually somewhere between 8 and 12,000, which is the same it is in Forza 5. Now, depending on how well you did, there were modifiers, like you were saying, the bonuses, the difficulty, and all that kind of stuff that will give you a percentage more on top of that. And the cars are still roughly the same price as they were in Forza 4. You know, if you want the Civic, it's going to cost you about $6,000. But if you want, like, you know, the Ferrari, it's going to cost you over 120 to even millions of dollars. But then there's a ton of cars, somewhere in the realm of 80, that are between $50,000 and $80,000, which will take you around, if you're a good driver, around 15 to 20 races to do. And that doesn't seem like a lot of work to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the amount of work even. It's all these developers that are coming out with games that they're charging you premium price for, which isn't that money isn't good enough for them. So they put on these freemium levels and layers on top of their game. And I won't support that personally, and I hate it.
And the problem is, right, you're in the minority there, is because you will vote with your wallet and not buy it, right? But there are so many people who will, right? That's why the 100 donut option in Simpsons Tapped Out is still on there.
That's a freemium game. I'm not paying $60 for it.
I know it's a premium game, but I'm just
saying
there's a huge
difference. There's a huge difference when you talk about stuff like that.
But still, people don't, especially gamers. Gamers they rarely will vote for their wallets, right? Call of Duty is the shittiest game in the world, and yet it still makes a ton of money every year because of it, right? For whatever reason, we have a very strong inability. We are unable to vote with our wallets. Like, you're in the minority that you won't, support that kind of stuff. But it's going to continue to happen. It's going to get even more in depth, right? And in Forza, it doesn't bother me at all because I know how Forza plays, and it just it seems like a natural progression. If I want the Ferrari 458 Italia right now, I can spend $350 and get it. Cool. Or I can play the game and race 100 to 120 races like you would anyway as you're progressing through the career, and just unlock it with real money.
Yep.
for me, it's not a big deal because I'm prepared and willing and want to sit there and race for hours.
Totally.
Right?
But you're one small percentage of the people that would buy this game. There's the real elites, people that love racing games. They're the people that buy the cockpits to sit in, even though they're not powered. They're the people that buy the racing wheels. There's a small percentage of people that buy racing games that do that. Forza has always been a game where you would race, and even if you didn't do well, if you beat a circuit, if you beat a competition, you'd be getting a free car. And it's like, hey, cool, I could take this car and I can go race another race.
Yeah, it was every time you leveled up in Forza 4. So it was roughly around 8 to 10 races or so, depending on how well you did.
Sure.
And once you got to that, they would give you a free car.
Regardless of what the method for doling out these rewards are, you were constantly getting free stuff so that you could try other things in the game, so that you could build your bank account and then eventually say, okay, I want to get this Audi TT because I drive one in real life and this is what I want to get if I was someone that would buy an Audi TT. But they want to get it in the game, and they could save their money because they're playing the game and they're getting free content so that they could go and do other things and then still build that little nest egg. Forza 5's taken that away, saying, no, we don't want to give you anything for free because we think it cheapens the experience. Well, no, you don't want to give people stuff for free because you want them to either grind away, which is great for your stats, or you want them to get sick of the grind and pony up and buy a credit package saying, well, it's only $5. And and once you have a couple 100,000 people, a couple hundred only $5 transactions, I mean, that's a huge chunk of money. My problem
it totally is.
My problem is that they're gimping the game in such a way that they make it so that you're more likely to spend money. It's like Real Racing. When Real Racing first came out on the iPad, it was an amazing racing game because it was $9 or whatever the price was. And then Real Racing 2 came out and it was really cheap, and there was a bunch of freemium stuff put on it. And then Real Racing 3 came out and it's fully freemium, and it kind of swung from one end of the pendulum to the other end of the pendulum. I don't mind Real Racing 3 doing that because it didn't cost me a penny to pick it up. And if I really like the game, I'll spend the $20, get the credits, do the stuff. But to me, it's a problem when you're buying a retail game and they're doing the same sort of tricks that freemium game developers are doing. There's psychology courses, there's at different conferences that basically tell you if you want to key on to the different brain triggers to get people to get hooked, this is what you do. And there's a set formula. And when you look at every freemium game that comes out, they follow the same set formula. And that stuff is leaking into retail games. And I feel that that's a big problem. And that's really all I'm saying. Whether it's Forza 5 or whatever, I don't care. It's a huge problem for me because...
I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. You were just about to finish.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to take it on a game-to-game basis for me, right? Like I have to kind of see how the model is introduced and how difficult the progression really is without spending real cash on top of whatever the entry price of the game was. And for Forza, for me, it really doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. I'm sure there'll be a game that'll come out where it's like, yeah, Call of Duty, Ghosts 2 or whatever. If you want to play online, that's great. And here, listen, you can go up to like level 5 prestige and get this wicked piece of tech. Or you can give us like 99 cents right now and you can get it when you're level 1. I don't even know if that'll piss me off, but like it does. For me, it seems like it's going to be a game-to-game basis. And Forza 5, I don't have a big problem with it. Mostly because I think the grind is fun, and I like to sit there and just play and race for hours and unlock stuff naturally anyway, right? Like I'm going to get money. I know that it's going to keep rolling in, and the better I do, the more I get, and then I can go and buy, all the cars that I want. I think where this kind of, I remember watching an interview with Adam Sessler and the director of Turn 10, the maker of Forza, and they said like we put this system into play because in Forza 4 we had a lot of complaints where people were wanting to race the Enzo right away, but they could only do it in free play, right? Which you can still do in Forza 5. But
actually, you can't in Forza 5.
You can't race it in free play?
No.
You can only race cars that you've unlocked in free play?
Yeah. in the
Yeah.
arcade mode. In the let's have fun, this doesn't actually affect my profile, my whatever they call it in the game, my campaign in the game. You can only race cars that you own, even in free play.
No, see, that's stupid.
Well,
That's
yeah,
crossing the line.
it's freemium. It's not like every other Forza game. You buy it, you can try all the cars, and you can have fun with that. You can't do it in this one because they're going at it from the freemium mentality. But
I only thought it was
$60 game.
locked to career mode.
No, it's bad, man. Like there's a couple really great articles. I'll have to find them and put them in the show notes. But I've heard different podcasts talk about it. I've had friends talk to me about it, how pissed off they are with this franchise. They still love the game. They say it's fun, but it has this like evil oily substance over all the surfaces that they don't like to touch, but they enjoy playing it. But then they get the heebie-jeebies every once in a while when they see what's coming down the pipe. Like, and then you look at the other end of the spectrum and you look at Killzone that just came out on the PS4. I mean, all its DLC is going to be free, like even map packs.
Yeah.
And they're not a huge game developer by any stretch of the imagination. Well, sorry, they're a huge game developer, but their games aren't huge. They're not a Call of Duty. They're not a Battlefield.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because both companies turn 10. Well, I guess turn 10 maybe now more so, but they're both pretty much like a Microsoft Games studio production, right? And for Sony, the guys who make Killzone, right? We're basically a Sony Pictures or a Sony Games.
They're a second
production,
party.
Right?
They're a second party game developer, so they only
Totally.
make for PlayStation.
So they're kind of sitting in the same boat, and you get free DLC on one side and paid for on the other.
Yeah, and it's like they come at it from the mentality that it's like you gave us your money, you voted with your money, you gave us $60. We're gonna want you to keep playing this game. And then you look at the other side of the shooter. It's like, yeah, we want to sell you every single thing that we possibly can. If we could sell you bullets, we would, because we want to scrape as much money as possible out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's starting to sneak into a lot of the retail games that are coming out, and it's here like from day one on the new consoles, and that's what really scares me, because then you look at this new console generation, you look at games that you're going to be buying in 5 years, and is this what every game's going to have? How is that going to be fun for me? I can't even say right now, because obviously you don't know what it's going to be. But when you look at stuff that's already snuck in, it just, I don't know, it's kind of terrible. And it reminds me a lot of when the Xbox 360 was new and you had the horse armor, and it was just like you're paying $4 for a skin for your horse. That's all it did. It didn't do anything special. And everybody's like, okay, this is what DLC is. Like, count me out. This is going to be a huge failure. Like, I'm not going to spend any money on this. Enough people got angry and talked about it for developers to go, oh crap, okay, we can't just sell you a $4 skin for your horse. We actually have to sell you something that does something for the game. So there was enough of an outrage, which then basically changed the industry. And DLC was new. They were able to change it so that DLC, that horse armor, wasn't the prevalent type of it, because there was enough people getting out there and getting angry and screaming about it. I just hope people do the same thing about this type of stuff. I mean, if you're paying $60 for a game, you shouldn't have to pay any more money to have fun at the game. But Forza seems like it's going to it's going down the path of evil more so than the path of good.
Oh my god, evil. I think that's a bit strong.
Well, no, I didn't say it is evil. I said it's going down the path of evil, not the path of good. It's not the Killzone way of doing it, saying, yeah, we want you to play our game, we want to reward you for doing that. It's how can we make you pay every single time that you sit down in front of your console? Let's brainstorm the ways.
But I mean, that's really just what the world is now, right? Like, I mean, video games are made to make money, and the DLC is one of those things where it's like, we just want to see how much you're willing to open up your wallet, and then once we get to the point where you are not, we'll stop there and figure out how to go past it later on. You know?
And like I said, I understand the industry really well. I read a lot of stuff about the industry. I get that. I just don't like the freemium stuff squeezing into the retail game side of things, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I've got to take it game by game. Yeah. Max also asked earlier how many cars came on disc for Forza 5, and it's somewhere around 210 or so. But they cut that in half, and they also cut the tracks in half as well too. Tracks are now down to something like 15 instead of the 30, and cars are down from more than 400 now to just over 200. The excuse for that was That the
We rendered
up-res-
we rendered the cockpits on every single vehicle. So
Yeah, it was
that's
something like up-res textures or whatever just did not work out when they went to next gen, and they only had enough time to kind of put a few, I guess 200 of them together.
Oh, really? No, I read an interview with some of the development team, and they said, yeah, it took too long for us to fully render the inside cockpit on every single vehicle instead of just a handful. So we had to cut back. They're saying something like it takes a month to make a vehicle.
Doesn't surprise me. They were pretty in depth.
So that's why when you get like a 5 car pack that comes out, it takes a month for them to come up with that car pack, because you have different teams that are working about a month of real time to produce each of those cars that are in those car packs.
Yeah.
And I get that. I mean, I get that it takes a lot of time to do that, but I don't know, the not be able to race in free play mode, like, oh, that stuff is just that's evil. That's not cool at all.
You just said it was evil.
I said that act is evil.
Yeah. Well, what's the difference?
There's a huge difference.
The act is evil, but they're not evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a bit grandiose what we're talking about here.
Says the guy that makes grandiose statements of all. Like,
but
you're ridiculous.
But I'm
man.
aware they're grandiose.
Okay, whatever. Let's move on to the news. Let's start off with we'll get into PlayStation Plus for December. Sony came out with what their PS Plus for the next month.
Am I not doing a review on COD Ghosts?
I thought we said we were going to put it into the intro.
Oh, well, I didn't even know. You said put Battlefield 4 into the intro, not COD Ghosts.
I said put as much into the intro as possible because we want to get through this one. Sure, you can talk about COD Ghosts if you really want to.
I can leave it till next week.
Sure.
Yeah, we're already about an hour into this show, so we can just do the news and I can leave it for next week.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. So PlayStation Plus for December was announced, and it's kind of funny because it came about a day after Microsoft announced what their games for gold for December was going to be.
Oh my god!
And we were talking.
You want
about
something to get real angry about?
We were talking
games
about that.
For gold.
We were talking about that in the pre-show. And for the first 2 weeks of December, you can get the original Gears of War. And we were trying to figure out when that came out. We're like 2008, something like that. 2009, 2008, 2009.
1906 at the height of the gold rush.
Yeah, it was 2006, which is ridiculous. And the other one is Kill All Robots, which is kind of an indie title thing.
I don't even know. I bet it's shit.
It's actually not that bad, but it's not on the same level with what Sony does, which is what Microsoft really should be competing with.
Is that your official review of Kill All Robots? It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not.
I hope they put that on like the back of the box. Right? Lloyd Hansen in the bonus stage says
it's a digital download only, so it would be in the write-up somewhere maybe.
It's not that bad.
But yeah,
School's at average.
So the games for December for PlayStation Plus, they announced Borderlands 2. Which came out about a year ago. That's a really great game. Dyad, which is this really crazy psychedelic music-based shooter, kind of, but not really. It's hard to describe, but it's awesome. That one's about a year and a half old. Grid 2, when did that come out? About 18 months ago as well, I think.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, which would be 18 months. Let's see. Grid 2 came out in May of 2013? No, that's not right.
Is Grid 2 that maybe?
That's the PC version. No, that's not right.
Grid 3 is new?
Grid 2 came out in May of 2013.
Okay, so it's brand friggin' new then.
Wow, that is way less old than I thought it was.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I think so.
And then Urban Trial Freestyle and Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed for the Vita. So there's some really awesome PS3 titles and some really awesome Vita titles. And I looked at the PlayStation blog posts and reading some of the comments, and people were saying, well, that's fine, but what about the PS4? You just came out this system and you're not supporting it yet? And I had to sit back in my chair and go,
what the hell is out for it? Holy shit.
I was like, people are bitching about a console that just came out and that Sony's not giving them free games for it yet.
Why isn't Killzone not free yet?
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. But yeah, pretty pretty damn good. They also had Black Friday sales for PlayStation Plus memberships. They were $30 all over the place for a year of PlayStation Plus. So
Nice.
Sony's really pushing this. I'm eager to see what comes of PlayStation Plus in the next 6 months or so. Once you get some PS4 content and seeing what happens with PS3, some of their Gaikai stuff, like it's
Oh yeah, that's going to be insane.
it's looking to be pretty interesting. I'm really excited.
Urban Trial Freestyle, by the way, on the Vita is actually really fun. I have the demo actually still on my Vita because I like to go back and play it because like 3 or 4 maps.
Right.
And it's kind of like Trials, but it's on the Vita and it's a little bit shittier of a version.
Yeah,
but it's still a lot of fun.
It looks pretty wicked. Like it has some really nice graphics.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to play.
Sonic's also pretty sweet too. I'm going to download that. I'm going to download all of these except for Dyad. I think I'll download Dyad.
Yeah,
I'll download.
I played a heck of a lot of Sonic on the Wii U. I bought it for the Wii U because my kids wanted to play Mario Kart, which obviously doesn't
Yes,
exist
that's
yet.
where I played it. And your friggin' kids whooped me because let's be honest, they were hacking. So
They were, yeah.
they were fucking hacking.
Yeah. I've been teaching them right.
Yeah, that's horseshit, Lloyd. I mean, like, let them lose every once in a while. They don't have to hack to win.
But yeah, so that's a pretty good December, Jeff. Merry Christmas. That's a good Merry Christmas from Sony for people that celebrate that holiday, and a happy December to everybody else that doesn't. So pretty damn cool. All right, let's move on to some less cool stuff. Jeff, did you see that email generator that Microsoft put out this week?
I did.
It's kind of ridiculous. So earlier this week, they released a letter, and I'll read some of it. It's not. The letter doesn't exist. Oh, here it is. Hey, honey, not sure if you've heard, but Xbox One is now available. That means we can start playing games like Dead Rising 3. I know. You'd rather do your taxes early, is in this one. The original one, you'd rather knit. It was the thing they put there. Then watch me slay zombies. But hear me out on this Xbox One. It's actually good for the both of us. Seriously. I put together a list of reasons why this console could benefit you and me, together and apart, but mostly together. Games. Maybe you don't love games like I do, but there's really something for everyone. While I'm playing Dead Rising 3, you might like arcade games. And since you were just begging me to dance, I'm willing to play Forza Motorsport 5 for you. What? That doesn't even make sense. It's win-win. So anyway, like this letter was just crazy sexist, basically saying we know you don't like games. You'd rather watch soap operas and knit. And it was basically the whole point of this thing was for you to send a letter to your significant other so you can convince them to allow you to buy an Xbox One for the holidays, because it really is for the both of you. And there's a part of it that was I was gonna the one really ridiculous part is like, well, I'm playing zombies, you could be watching your Young and the Restless, whatever, like some TV show like this, because you can do both at the same time. And I'm just like, what
I think my favorite one, and it's only because I kind of share this sentiment, but it is still quite sexist. Actually, no, it's a little bit sexist. It says, we can talk on Skype with your favorite sister, whom, of course, I love dearly.
Heck, we can even talk to them while we watch your favorite TV show.
Like, I like that. I think that one's funny.
Yeah.
Right? But it's so ridiculous. Like, I don't know who fucking signed off on this. But
It's
someone
funny.
who is probably a guy, right?
Yeah.
And just thought, hey, that's funny.
It's funny. Let's make fun of the nagging girlfriends / wives and trick them into spending money on you, so you could do more in your man cave type thing. After this letter kind of blew up online, there was a lot of people that were really angry about it. Microsoft edited it, and the edits weren't really much better. And then finally the letter that's up there as it is now, if it's still even up, it doesn't have any defaults. So you have to edit all of the defaults. You can't actually just leave any of them blank. It's just empty spaces. You have to go put your stuff in. So I don't know. Microsoft's marketing, still, they haven't learned any lessons, Jeff. They keep doing stupid things that get them black eyes on Twitter, on Facebook, and then they basically have to do the big backpedal and say, "Oh yeah, we're sorry." Yeah. It's like, you'd think you'd learn.
It's sad because the gaming market seems like it's slanted, right? When you just talk to people, but if you talk to anyone who has their head on straight, it's not slanted at all. It's nearly 50-50 guys to
totally.
girls. But we still have this shit that it's like, oh hey, the PS Vita for girls, it's pink. Or no, sorry, it was the PSP for girls that it was pink, and then there was the pink Xbox 360 controller, so you can be your pink Spartan in Halo 3 and kill your boyfriend. Like, girls play video games all the time.
Totally.
They don't need to be fucking catered to as if they're like, out there in the corner, like shy about it and shit.
Totally.
Like.
And it's not a problem to give people options. Like my daughter, she loves pink. Like from before she could talk, she gravitated to the color pink. We didn't have anything pink in her room purposely because we didn't want to have this big pink explosion that she would be born into. Okay. This is really annoying. Every time I go to this next article, it starts playing some video that I can't find.
I got it from the Denver Post, so that's how they pay for their ads.
Right. So I'll let you talk about that one. But yeah, like it's good to have options. Like my daughter has a pink 3DS XL right now, and she loves it. She wouldn't want any other color except maybe purple. But to only make something and market it specifically and say, yeah, you can get the black one for yourself and the pink one for your girlfriend. It's like, wow, what decade are you living in, people? It's ridiculous. But like, anyway,
a lot of my cars in GTA Online are pink because it looks freaking sweet.
Okay.
But yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with liking pink. A lot of girls like pink. That's cool. But exactly, like you said, for them to go, hey, this is the girl model. Now girls can play.
Right. By default, it doesn't have to be the one that girls have to use. Like there's not even an option. It's like, well, but you're a girl. You obviously like pink. All girls like pink. I mean, really?
It's like, oh, come on.
What decade do you live in? Anyway, just another really ridiculous thing that Microsoft did this week that just made me shake my head and giggle and say, oh, Microsoft, will you never learn?
You know what? I hope one day they do. But I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, you think about it, 1 year ago, right? Before we knew what the Xbox One was or the PS4 was, Microsoft was technically on the top, right? I mean, Sony was catching up, and around this point last year, they had eclipsed them in sales finally worldwide for install base on the PS3. But it was kind of a general consensus that Xbox out of the gate, did a really good job. Their controller was great. Their first party support was great. Xbox Live was great. All that stuff. And like, really, you would look at that and go, how can they screw that up? And then, 6 months later, we get into the summer and it's like, just this insane crescendo of failure after failure after failure.
Yeah, it's flipping. Like Sony did all the stupid PR stuff. They said, oh, you'll be happy to work 2 jobs to afford our console because it's the best, and we know that you will.
And now it almost seems crazy that they said that, considering how well they're doing now.
Totally.
Did Sony say that? No, they didn't. They would never.
Yeah, they got rid of the guy that did, so they can say, well, we never did that. It was him.
Exactly. Right,
he was going out on his own. He was crazy.
He went rogue.
Crazy Ken Kutaragi went rogue. It was just bizarre.
He came up with the price on the spot, and some graphics guy had to quickly change it.
No one approved it, and he just did it.
$700? Holy shit.
It's all on him. Send your hate mail to him.
Yeah.
So bizarre. Anyway, moving on, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, they're both out, but there's been some issues with each of the consoles. We talked a little bit last week, I guess. But there's been some more stuff that has come out. Yeah,
so likely, kind of expected by a lot of people. I know that I expected some instances to happen. I know that Lloyd expected some as well too. You know about the Red Ring of Death from the 360 era, which was like a 2-year, oh my god, this is awful situation for Microsoft. But this has been a lot better for both companies. The PS4 has had, and I really hate video game journalists right now because they're like, hey, something's happening and we need to kind of put a pretty bow on it, so let's call it the blue light of death and the disk drive of doom, and not just say both of these consoles are having issues. Like, I hate that shit when I read it on Kotaku. Brian Ashcraft says the blue light of death. Learn how to write.
It's because they want it to take off so they could say, hey, I coined that term.
Exactly. It's such horseshit. But anyway, they're calling it the blue light of death for the PS4 and the disk drive of doom. So stupid.
That would make a good game, though. I'd like to play that game.
The disk drive of doom, yeah.
Sounds good.
So every time you put the disc in, the tray just shuts really hard, and you're like, damn it, I almost got it that time.
It almost eat my finger.
Yeah, so apparently these are happening to a very small percentage, somewhere in the realm of 1 to 3%, although if you type in disk drive of doom on Twitter, it seems a lot higher. But the blue light of death is just basically rendering the entire console useless for the PS4, and the disk drive of doom is basically making any game completely unplayable. You know, you can still kind of screw around on the dashboard and stuff, but you put a game in and it's like, yeah, this game doesn't work. Sorry, guys.
You put the game in and it sounds like the worst possible sound ever. Like if you've ever listened to any of the Vines or YouTube videos, it sounds like you're killing small animals in your Xbox One. It's a horrible sound.
It's like you put the pieces of a disc in the tray,
like it,
and they're being read.
What it sounds like is the plastic cogs that are basically taking the disc, putting it in, are just stripping. So it's like,
it's not a good noise.
Oh, what? I would be like scared to death. I would unplug my Xbox One just because
it's pretty frightening.
It sounds really bad. So
Sony says they're trying to figure out a patch, and if it's patchable, they'll do that.
They actually, sorry to interrupt you. They sent out some boxes when this was happening to a bunch of people that were having this issue. Immediately, they overnighted them replacement consoles and an empty box to get the units back so that they could take them into the lab and say, okay, what the hell is this? What is causing this? How can we fix this? So they were really on top of the ball, which was really nice to see, because Sony's Japanese, right? So they're usually very slow to admit faults. In like from a big corporation side, I'm not trying to paint Japan in that way, but just the big corporations like Sony, Nintendo, like when something happens, it takes them a long time for them to say crap, and then they come out and they give the apology, like the whole PSN being down forever type thing. It was like a very long process. They immediately came out and said, yep, okay, we're going to figure out what this is. They contacted people. They sent out boxes. They got some sample units back. I was pretty impressed because I didn't think that would happen at all.
Yeah, Microsoft is also sending out consoles, but not as quickly. This article also talks about the Red Ring of Death, which I didn't know this, but it was a 3-year extended warranty for Red Ring of Death in 2007, and it spent more than $1 billion to repair the problem. So that's insane.
Well, apparently there was an internal report that came out that said up to 65% of all Xbox 360s that have been manufactured to date at that time could actually have the Red Ring of Death because of the faults with the logic board. So Microsoft got that report and they're like, oh crap, we got to get on top of this, or there's going to be a major class action lawsuit.
So it was like a solder thing, right? It got too hot and it came loose.
Yeah, it was the there was these little clip things that basically held down the heatsink, and they would bend, and then the heatsink would lift off of the CPU, and then it would basically cause the board to flex, crack, and there'd be like little hairline fractures, and it wouldn't be cooling properly, and then eventually it would just die.
Okay, so if that's the problem, how the hell did wrapping it in a blanket work for so many people?
Because you would melt the solder a little bit, which would then recreate those hairline fracture connections.
I see. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of scary that is what you're doing. You're melting internal parts so that they make connections again. But but yeah, it worked. I did that to mine, and it actually did work.
Yeah. So if you are affected, you probably already know by now, but you will be refunded a new console when they figure out what the issue is. From what I understand, I think Sony said that it most likely won't be able to be patched because the console can't even turn on to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I've heard that a lot of people have got their replacement consoles for PlayStation, and some have reported that the Xbox One is also having their replacement console shipped out. Yeah. But it's a shitty thing. But again, most people are reporting less than 1% of users, so that's a very good number.
Yeah. When you ship 1 million, when you ship 1 million of anything, there's going to be a certain level of defect on any product. So that's why you're hearing a lot about it, because at the last console generation, the max they sold on launch day was 500,000. So this is twice as many units out there on day one. And it was even 500,000 in one day. It was like 500,000 in the first week. This is 1 million on one day. So there was definitely a lot more of these things being turned on. Twitter exists. It didn't exist way back then. So news travels a heck of a lot faster than it used to. One interesting thing about the PlayStation 4 is that it seems like there's a whole series of different errors with the system, which is kind of a pain. There's some stuff with the HDMI port. Some of them had this extra shielding that was bent the wrong way, so it was shorting out. Like, it seems like there was just some screw up in manufacturing for a lot of this stuff, and then the rest of it seems like there's an actual like physical issue with either the hard drive doesn't have the right OS on it or something else that is causing it just not to boot properly. So it's got to be really frustrating for Sony to have so many multiple problems that they have to sort of address and see what the solution is, if there's something they can recommend to people to do, or if they have to take them in. I can't imagine what their QA team was basically doing on day one. They were probably crapping themselves.
Oh man, I'm sure they got some pretty angry phone calls, and even more so the fact that like they have to figure out in which order do we solve these problems. What's the biggest one, and then but people are still going to be pissed off.
Totally.
I guess the good thing is if you're an Xbox One owner, you do get a free game, and that game is Gears of War.
Yes, Gears of War.
It's not, but it might as well be.
You get to choose from a lot of them.
It's actually a pretty good selection for having a shit console.
Dead Rising 3, Forza Motorsport 5, Rise Son of Rome, or Zoo Tycoon.
I downloaded the demo on the 360. I still haven't played it.
Zoo Tycoon. I'm gonna take that one instead of the other games.
Well, Dead Rising 3, I heard, is just a bag of shit.
Really?
You know what's funny? Like, I was just, okay, so it updated on Wednesday. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go see what the new demos are. And I'm like, Zoo Tycoon? Like, when the hell did they work on that? Like, I had no clue that was even in the works. So I downloaded it. Clearly not that interested in it. But I guess, you get a nice little, unless you bought all of these games already, because you were so excited about getting Xbox One, you're like, I'm going to buy every launch title.
Except for Zoo Tycoon, so now you can get your free game.
Yeah, and you're like, this is the only one I didn't want.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they, nice that they offered something.
Yeah,
I'm sure Sony will probably do the same thing.
They'll probably give people some credit or 6 months of PS Plus or something.
Yeah, that would be an insane deal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 6 months.
We're not going to give you one game for free. We're going to give you 24 games because we give you 4 every month.
When you buy a PS4, don't you get 3 months for free?
Yeah, you do. So,
nice.
Yeah, when you buy a PS4, you basically have free games to play. Cause you
know what you get for gold for free on the Xbox One?
2 days.
14 days.
Actually,
14.
I was watching an unboxing of the Xbox One, and when you buy a controller, you get a card that gives you, I think, 2 days of Xbox Live inside your controller. So if you bought 4 controllers, I mean, you have 8 whole days of Xbox Live on top of the 14 that comes with your console for free. It's just like, really? 2 days? It seems more hassle than anything to create those cards and have a system that can be that granular. It just seems really
I love
bizarre.
Xbox Live, probably more than anyone that we've talked to on the show. Like, definitely more between the two of us, right? I'm a big proponent of Xbox Live. I think it's totally worth the money. But to give someone 2 days or 14 days is really, it's completely worthless, right? Yeah. Because in 14 days, you're either going to do one of two things. Play it every day and be super sick and tired of it, or play it twice and feel like you've wasted your time.
Yeah, exactly.
And, with PSN, I guess now on PS4, you do have to have a PS Plus membership to play online. Again, that's fine with me. It seems to be fine with most people as well, too. But they're giving you a bunch of free games. So, if you don't use it, there's still, like, if you're not playing online, there's still, like, things to enjoy. Whereas with Xbox Live Gold, okay, so I get access to Netflix that I'm already paying now, and I get to what else? Oh, nothing other than playing games online.
All these free web streams that I could access on any other device for free. Oh, yeah. I can do it now on this thing.
It's such horseshit.
So bizarre.
I think Xbox Live Gold needs to step up what they're offering for Gold, because even though it's okay for me, eventually it's going to get to the point where just playing online isn't good enough, because even for, again, not for me, but for pretty much anyone else who isn't a big Xbox Live fan, it's not worth it at all to just play online, because I can go to Sony or the PS3 and play for free. Ridiculous. 14 days, you sons of bitches.
Cool. All right, so the PS4 just launched in Europe, and it looks like with the huge influx of people over there, PSN's been having some problems. So today, Sony actually disabled a bunch of functionality, one being the ability for you to enter codes. So I know some people that have had their free trial of PSN that they got with their PS4 just run out just in time for that feature of PSN to go down, so that they couldn't actually input the codes to continue with their PlayStation Plus account to then play the games that they downloaded for free. So it's just kind of like a really bad timing thing. But
yeah, but at least they're doing the right thing by shutting it down so that people's codes don't go to waste.
yeah,
Because
totally.
those things are really hard to track. When somebody says, "Hey, my code didn't work. Can I get my money back?" That's really hard to track.
Totally. And the good thing is that means that a hell of a lot of people in Europe bought a PS4. So that can only mean really good things for Sony. That they're still selling these units. It's not just a US centric thing. It's going to be selling well in different parts of the world as well.
Yeah. So this article was on Kotaku, by the way, written by one Luke Plunkett, and I just want to kind of highlight a really great piece of writing here that really showcases the kind of real artisanal crafting of words here at Kotaku. Again, talking about the UK launch. Given the timing of the network troubles and the first thing Sony disabled, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to deduct the problem might be just a ton of new games. That is horrible writing. Sherlock, hey, it's the UK. What's the Sherlock Holmes?
2, 3, 4. There's 4 commas in that sentence. The whole paragraph is one sentence.
It's horrible.
It's actually 2 sentences. The first one is companies disabled the routine voucher function on the PSN while they investigate further. And then the rest of the sentence is given the timing of the network troubles and the first thing Sony disabled, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to deduct. The problem might just be that a ton of new games, codes, and consoles got sold on Black Friday, and a lot of Americans have the day off. The reports of spotty service are worldwide, so the new PS4 consoles sold in Europe probably aren't helping, period.
Finally.
My God, wow, that made it through edit. That made it through an editor.
No, I'm sure he edited himself. There's just no way. Or either that, or they're like, hey, we got to get it out right now because if it's not out the second it happens, then it's completely, worthless.
Yep, ridiculous. All right, moving on. Sony has finally announced that they are going to be coming out with a PS4 plus PS Vita Ultimate Edition bundle, which is awesome. That's what a lot of people are looking for. It was announced in Sony of Europe, so it'll probably come out here. Probably not, but probably, or maybe not. Sorry, but probably. Sorry, I'm reading and talking doesn't always work together.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on muscle relaxants, it makes things nice and interesting.
And beer.
Yeah, that's a good addition as well.
So on the muscle relaxant it says don't mix with beer. On the beer, does it say don't mix with the muscle relaxant?
Well, it says don't mix with alcohol. Beer technically is an alcohol, is it right? It's something else.
Close enough. Like it's got alcohol in it.
Does it really? Oh.
Well, I mean, it has an alcohol content.
I guess so. I just never
You're
thought
Canadian,
of it that way.
so you don't notice.
I'm just being an ass. Of course it has alcohol in it. But yeah, so they announced it, but it doesn't seem that it's that great of a deal. It's basically the system, the PS4 system, the PS Vita system, and a controller and a memory card for pretty much what you'd pay for all of it separately. It's £500. And the Vita is what, £140 in Europe?
So if you convert it again,
it's a saving of £10 basically is what it is.
Yeah, which is nothing. It doesn't really cover anything. So they're just basically packaging it all together so you can buy it all at once. Not very great. And there's also no games bundled with it either, which is a little bit suspect. You don't get like a free download code for anything, and from what I can tell, you don't get like, here's some PS Plus, here's a month of that or something. So it's kind of just we put everything in one box for you so you could just pick up one thing at the store and not have to take a cart.
We don't want you to fumble with things, so we'll just put it all in one. We could also sell it to you separately and duct tape the boxes together. Like your choice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they might as well have done that, right? Yeah. Like just, okay, here it's in a bag and we just zip tied the bag. By the way, if you're out there listening and you think £500, that sounds like a lot. It is a lot. It's about $850 Canadian. But remember that in the UK things are quite a bit more expensive, and
they pay
they pay a lot.
There's a lot of taxes, import taxes, and things like that. But yeah. I saw a really good Black Friday sale for the Vita. Yeah, I think it was like $150, and it came with 3 games and a bunch of other stuff. So there's definitely deals to be had. So if you have a PS4 and you do want a Vita to do the remote play, look for sales online. Obviously, Black Friday's already passed, but you can look for near the holidays for some other sales, because there were some really good deals today for the Vita. Deals that I would have jumped on if I hadn't already owned a Vita. It would have been enough for me to jump on it today.
doesn't Amazon offer their Black Friday for like it's a Black Friday weekend kind of thing?
Yeah, but once they sell it to the systems, it's
Oh
gone.
yeah.
You have to.
They're
You have to
probably
be,
out of a lot of shit.
yeah. All the good deals are there. They didn't last very long at all.
Yeah. We pay you to have this.
Well, they had
Christ.
the PlayStation Plus codes for $29.99. And I think they sold 300,000 of them or something, like
Wow.
some ridiculous number. And then when I went there, it was $50. So they had sold out of all of the allotment that they had, and it was just other stores that were selling it for the retail price.
Oh.
So yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah, here's someone actually put it in the comments of this article. Yeah, it was the Walking Dead Vita bundle that came with Sly Cooper, Retro Rampage, and Uncharted, and it was like 150 or 100. It was either 149 or 179. It was just a ridiculous price. And the Walking Dead PS Vita bundle comes with 2 games. It comes with the Walking Dead and then the 400 Days add-on to it. So pretty damn good deal for the Vita.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. All right, moving on. We talked about this a while ago. We were talking about this Skyrim mod that someone worked on for 2,000 hours, and it was this whole new continent with quest lines and dungeons and all this stuff. And we said, my God, like they need to get hired. Like Bethesda needs to track this guy down and hire him today because we need people like that working on the next Skyrim game. Well, I guess Bethesda was too slow because it was articles came out this week that he actually landed a dream job, not at Bethesda, but at Bungie. And they have him working on Destiny, which is pretty damn cool.
That's pretty awesome and good for him. Carly actually downloaded this mod. I play Skyrim on the 360. You're on the PS3, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we can't do the modding thing, which really blows. Yeah. But she downloaded it and was like really impressed. When you get into the modding community, right? Like from what I understand, it's kind of a mixed bag. You get some that are like really outstanding and they're really short, or you get someone that are really long and it's kind of shitty. Because obviously, if you're going to redo voices, you got to get someone to record them for you, and usually the voice acting will break the experience. But here, for I think it's called Falscar. Mm-hmm. It's actually very impressive. The trailer itself looks near. If you had just said, here's the trailer for Skyrim, and here's the trailer for a piece of DLC for Skyrim, yep. To someone who didn't know, they wouldn't be able to tell. That's how good it is.
Yeah, no, it was really good. The fact that he got voice actors to work on it, like, it was 100% awesome from top to bottom. But yeah, he's like 19. So this makes me really sad about what I did with my life. That this guy did this and now has a really awesome job at a game company. It's just like, holy crap. Why didn't I do this when I was 19? Oh yeah, because you couldn't really get a job in the games industry when I was 19. Actually, that's not true.
Not in this city.
That's not true. But yeah, it's just, wow, this is awesome. It goes back to the days of like Quake and Doom when someone would come up with like this really great total conversion or a mod kit, like the Quake carts or Doom carts or whatever. When it was Quake cart, and next thing you know, these people are getting hired and working for the company whose game that they were modding. This one, they're not working for the company for the game that they modded, but they're working with a pretty damn good company. Bungie's kind of known out there. I think some people know about them.
Yeah, I heard the game they're doing is like gonna change the world or something.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, good for that kid, man. That's very impressive.
Totally. It's a feel good story of the week, which is really good. And let's bring it down a notch and depress people. That would have
been the greatest segue if we were going to talk about Minecraft. Oh shit.
That would have been
good.
Well. I'm really high on this product, and I think you are too. And that is the Retron 5. That's the Frankenstein console that has cartridge ports for Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Famicom, Super Famicom, Mega Drive. It has Game Boy cart slots. It has controller ports for all those systems, except obviously for Game Boy. And it comes with a wireless controller if you don't want to use the actual real controllers for the games you're plugging in. You hook it up to your TV via HDMI so that you can immediately plug these games into modern televisions. You don't have to get any sort of like scan converter and really weird, expensive equipment to hook this stuff up to modern televisions.
You have to worry about the delay of the old technology into the new.
Totally. I was so hype on getting this product. It was supposed to come out in summer, and then they said, okay, it's coming out in October, and then they said it's coming out in December. It looks like they're basically it's lapsing again. It's been delayed until Q1 of 2014. Basically, they got a bunch of samples back from manufacturing, and they found out that some of the pins in the controller ports were bent. So that if they sent this out, it would basically not work for those people. And instead of having a percentage of the people have faulty units, they're going back and fixing their manufacturing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, admirable for sure. Also, the fact that they just came out and outright admitted, like, listen, it's
this
broken.
Is what it is. This is what this, and this is the problem. So there's no rumors out there for what it is. I really dig it. I like Hyperkin. They do a really good job. I just can't wait for this. Like, it has an in-game menu. You can save states in your cartridges. I want this so bad, and I know that when I get it, I'm going to be playing retro games with my kids. It's going to be awesome, because as good as it is on Virtual Console, I want to play the actual cartridge. The feel of slapping the cartridge into a console is something that I miss now that systems don't have cartridges anymore.
Yeah, it's too bad. They did, I think, it says on the article, right? Yeah, they were going to say it was going to be December 10th was the date it was coming out. And this news came out yesterday, right? So everybody was like, oh my God, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I know that PNP was liquidating their old Retron 3, I think, or 4.
3. So
they were getting those out of there so that they could make room for the new ones. And there were like sick deals on those things too. And then, sorry guys, it's not going to happen. But, they're optimistic about early 2014. So, maybe end of January or something like that. I guess it depends on where their manufacturing is coming from and how quickly they can get it fixed.
Totally.
But yeah, it sucks because it's such an insane package. And it's really...
The best part? It's $99.
Yeah, it's so cheap too. Like,
it's ridiculous. Yeah,
I can't even really like imagine that all that in one package and it being that cheap,
Yeah, and it's kind of neat because I think it's running Android. I think it's running a version of the Android operating system, because previous Retron devices like the Retron 3, they actually take old like non-working NES and Super Nintendo consoles and they take the components out and build a board that actually has the real components from a real system on it. This one is all just emulated. It's as low level emulation as you could possibly do, but it is an emulation. But they've spent so much time getting the audio right, because there's a lot of like emulation nerds out there that get really pissed off that, oh, in Super Contra the sound doesn't sound perfectly right, and this sprite isn't flickering at the proper frequency that it normally would be on normal hardware. I don't care about that. I just want to put my cartridge in and enjoy an old game. I don't care if it looks 100% accurate to the console. As long as it's 99.9%, I'm happy. They've even gone the extra step to get all those like really weird, like really quirky limitations from emulation and have it working on this device, which is pretty damn cool. I can't wait to get mine. I want it now.
See, I don't think I'd actually buy one, but I really like the idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, because like behind me, I've got like all of the retro games that I own, and they're only for Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo, and I've got my Retro Duo in a box over there, right? So I can play them all right now.
But
if I wanted
HDMI,
to.
dude.
Yeah, it's true.
Put it up to your big screen television. Put it into your video capture card. I mean,
the problem is like my desire to have a collection of old school games and or play them in that format has pretty much waned down to zero at this point.
There you go.
So.
Well, there you go.
But I still think it's a fantastic device and worthy of most people owning it if that's the kind of shit you want to do.
Yep. It looks really cool. Can't wait. So we'll let you guys know when it comes out.
You're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait till next year. But I'll definitely let you know when it comes out, because I will have one and I will talk all about it. And I can't wait personally to play that one. It is a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's going to about do it for the episode. Yeah, everybody, thanks for following us and subscribing. Check us out at vgpodcast.com if you want to send us an email, like Mr. No Name or Mrs. No Name sent in earlier. You can do that at vgpodcast@gmail.com or clicking contact us at our homepage and send us an email that way. You can email us directly at vgpodcast gmail.com, like I said, or call our voicemail line, which is 505 VG Podcasts. I'm on Twitter. I'm at DASME on Twitter, DASME. Jeff is at Jeff A. Ward. You can follow the whole network at VGPod, VGPOD. And we love to talk on Twitter and Facebook. So if you don't follow us, please do. And just a reminder that all of the shows that we record here on the network are available on YouTube. So if you want to check it out and watch it on whatever device you own that plays YouTube, because pretty much everything plays YouTube these days, you can do that at youtube.com/VGPod. All right, Jeff, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining me yet again.
Well, thank you for joining me.
And we'll chat to you guys in about a week's time. Take it easy, everybody.
Let's get started.